Okay, so this is what I've got here for you today, and we're looking at Japan. So let's open up this one, and we're looking at earthquakes, and we're looking at the depth is shallow, and if we look over here we can see how big they are. Bigger dots are really big ones, 8, and that size is 6, and we were looking at about a 6 in this area here, I believe. Right, and Mount Fuji, Tokyo's here, Mount Fuji is here. And then you've got quite this a plate tectonic lovely situation, haven't you, around about here. Yep. So if we go to the next one and we look at the plate, you can see that there's quite a structural change around about there. Yeah. Around about here we have a bend, and it goes round a corner, and around about there is where we had the tidal wave come in, right? So if you look at it, where would it crack? It would crack a big piece like that. It's not a spot, right? It's not a spot if you get a crack that big. 211, 1896, 1933. And look at your wave heights on 211. 8.5, 8, 7, 6, 9, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. So this was the big wave, and it was that whole area there. So we're looking at a major block shift, not a spot, right? And if you look back at your plate, then, and you look at the angle there, then wouldn't you think that if there were some old cracks in the plate edge that it would be around about that much? Yeah, of the plate, about that much for those big waves, and that much would be affected. If you push down on this, because you've got a whole lot of water coming in from the Aleutian area on this side, pushing it down so that when seafloor spreading takes it this way, it goes under, and then your pressures change and it pushes up briefly, and then it all settles out. But this is on this side, right? This is oceanic, and it's subduction zone. And then it has to lift to give you the wave on this side. Okay, but it's a big area. It's not like Tor, and it's not an epicenter of one spot. This is plate edge, and it's oceanic, and it's probably weather, it's probably rain, it's probably high pressure, low pressure, and water changing position on your Pacific plate, because that's the one rolling under. And when you push this down, then it can move, yeah? So if water comes on this side, it can move underneath, yeah? And then it can, and then if that dissipates and pressure changes, then it can come up and it can push this up, and it can break this and crack it up, and this whole section can go up a bit. Then you get your wave. Let's have a look at this one. This is the area. If we look back at this one, yeah, and we're looking at this area now, below this little bit here, and Tokyo's here, and Mount Fuji's here, yeah, and we look at this place. Now this is a volcanic area. Mount Fuji's over that way, I think. Hard to tell. But here's an active fault. And this is rattling all the time. Look at the roos. They're always on the move, rattling. That's an active fault. And if you were to tuck your yam anywhere, I'd tuck my yam. This is put your yam somewhere. I'd put my yam in that building there. That one. I'd put my yam in there. I don't know that we haven't got pug and escaping gases there, but this one looks rich to me. I think it's pug, which means that you've got an eject and maybe a little bit of gas coming out. Maybe the hydrogen sulfide pug thing. But this is volcanic, and there's a volcanic arc north of Takayam. Okay, so that's the fault line in the area. There's that little bit, and Takayam is here. Look at the fault lines in here. We've got quite, you've got the plate tectonics trench here, the 9.1, the big wave. Then you've got this has earthquakes along here. You get earthquakes down here. There's noting some big ones on this one, but look at all the fault lines in this area here. And that would be Takayam and here on a fault line. Look at all the little fault lines everywhere. But that's like really faulted in here. It's a busy area because you've got all of this action on your faulting and plate edges on big chunks of lithosphere. Okay, so if you look at the map, this is your faulting area here. This is Tokyo. This is this is your heavily faulted area. You've got a volcanic arc in here. You've got a volcano, Mount Fuji in here. Mount Fuji. This is the place that we photographed. It's this one. Takayama. Yeah, Takayama. And then, oh no, I'm not doing that. And open up. I don't want to edit it. Okay, someone's playing with me.